Welcome back, everyone. I am Cas Piancey, and I'm joined as usual by my partner in crime, Mr. Bennett Tomlin. How are you today?
Oh, I'm doing okay. How are you, Cas?
It's another day, so we're doing another one of these shorter episodes because, as usual, there's just an incredible amount of bullshit going on these days, and we are gonna start by talking about the CFPB. For anyone who is unfamiliar, that is the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. I believe it was started in 2008. Am I getting that right?
I don't know if that's the right year. It was an Elizabeth Warren initiative post-Great Financial Crisis when it became obvious that it was not going to be possible to get the political will to kind of harmonize and make reasonable our current financial regulator status. Elizabeth Warren, as well as a few other of the people in that kind of coalition, came together to get a bill passed that created the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, which more than the other financial regulators was supposed to focus on things directly impacting consumers of financial products. Junk fees, access to the products, debanking has been a big issue for them over the last few years. And when they say debanking, they mean more like sex workers and immigrants rather than crypto companies, which has caused problems, and we'll get to that. So they focused on consumer issues. They've gone after a bunch of junk fees, gotten a couple settlements related to things like that, and have largely been an effective regulator, bringing in far more in fines than has been appropriated to them by Congress.
And I want to add on to that, which is you don't hear people complaining about the CFPB,
Except for crypto guys and Elon Musk.
But normal people, I think, generally have a very good, if they've even heard of the CFPB, they generally have a pretty good opinion of it. It is not known as some waste-filled, horrible bureaucracy, that has, the DOD. If we want to talk about waste in America, the DOD probably is spiraling out of control when it comes to costs. But if we want to talk about things that benefit most people, I don't really see how shutting down the CFPB, which is what they are now doing. It is being shut down. Employees are locked out of offices. They're being told, don't come back. It's essentially this massive agency that is designed to help people like me and you is being shut down by Elon Musk and Donald Trump, and I don't know why.
Yeah, well, there are perhaps some reasons why, and some of those reasons are Elon Musk wants slightly fewer barriers between X.com becoming a payment service, and this is potentially a barrier that was in his way, and so he just removed the barrier. There's also the fact that the CFPB, is sometimes a boogeyman in cryptocurrency conspiracy theories about debanking. It seems misdirected. It seems if they're mad at anyone, they're actually mad at the FDIC, who issued some unofficial warnings about the amount of crypto some people had on their books. But they direct it at the CFPB sometimes, and that seems to have poisoned Elon Musk's brain. But we should pause for a second and just kind of give the overview here. So Friday, Elon Musk tweeted CFPB RIP. Then there was the message that went out this weekend, which told all CFPB employees if they had to work, don't come into the office, do remote work. And then yesterday or this morning, there was the other letter that went out and told them to stop all work. We've also learned that some of the DOGE goons, specifically Gavin Kleiger, Luke Farrator, Nikhil Rajpal, and Jordan Wick, were sent into the CFPB, initially had read-only access to some of these systems, but were later given administrative access and have been empowered to take broad latitude in changing the IT systems at CFPB. And perhaps more importantly, one of the CFPB is kind of a bank regulator. It's not one of the main bank regulators, but one of their roles is to do examinations of large banks. And so among the records that these DOGE men got access to were the bank examinations of a whole bunch of greater than $10 billion banks, as well as all the investigative resources they had, all the data on ongoing cases and things like that. So yeah, they've gone in and tried to kill off another agency. They're trying to do the same thing with the Department of Education as well, which isn't financial, so we're not focusing on that. But it's going on all over. The coup is everywhere.
Yeah, and we've mentioned previously, I think, about the CIA layoffs, the FBI layoffs, the U.S. AID layoffs. It is everywhere. And we urge you, like, we're here to talk about finance mostly and fraud, right? So we can talk about these, what we specialize in, but there's so much more going on. And really, you got to stay on top of it. I know that's asking a lot from people right now. I know it's hard to do it, but we really need people to, I need you to subscribe to some journalistic outlets that are doing a good job right now. I need that. And I need you to talk to friends and family and tell them what's going on and make sure they understand that this can't, if we go forward here and these things start to get dismantled, we're going to get onto this again later on in this episode. But if these things continue to be dismantled, you cannot just easily rebuild. If you set the house on fire, you don't get to be like, is the foundation okay? Like, the foundation's gone. So we're entering that stage now. So I really need people to pay for journalism, pay for the Fourth Estate, pay attention to it, and tell your friends and family. Now, sorry, moving on.
Listen, if we accidentally start a fire, we'll dump some water a couple 100 miles away and the fires will stop.
The valve. We're turning the valve on.
We'll turn all the valves on. Fuck farmers.
Yeah.
Sorry, not the point. Go back.
Moving on, we're going to be talking about the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act, which seems to kind of have been stopped. Like, they're doing everything they can and to be clear, this is a way to monitor.
Bob Menendez is screaming from his Easy Boy recliner today.
Yeah, and famously we talked about how like Chinese officials got bribed by Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX, and I'm sure they're just like, well, that would be legal now. And the reason we're saying this is because this law is specifically designed to stop people from bribing foreign officials and
prevent foreign people from bribing our officials.
Yeah, it runs both ways. And it was enacted in 1977. This is not a new law. This has been around for a very long time. So the fact that they're starting to look at it and try to change it should be very concerning.
Yeah. And so Pam Bondi, her day one memo after she got confirmed was like, we're eliminating basically all white-collar crime stuff, including the Foreign Corrupt Purposes Act. All those people are being reassigned. So yeah, there's no enforcement. Bribery's legal. Corruption's legal. Consumer financial protections are illegal.
For me, it's been very mind-boggling and just kind of hard to imagine. Apparently, Trump has an approval rating over 50% right now. Our Constitution is being desecrated. You know, the nation is... America as we know it is being destroyed. I think the malaise and the apathy for that, it goes along the lines of, I was over it anyway. And it's like, okay, well, you don't know what's about to happen. If you thought Republican democracy was boring and rough and didn't work that well, boy, oh boy, are you going to be horrified when we have a fascist authoritarian dictator.
I will also say over like the last week, Trump's favorability has flipped and he is now more unfavorable than favorable. But he did come in with positive favorability. So that has shifted a little bit, but it's still only like plus 1% unfavorable or something on 538's aggregate. So yeah, but hey, at least there's no more pennies, right?
Yeah, so this has been an issue for me for a long time. Now Trump and Musk are both saying we need to get rid of the penny, which is really unfortunate because I agree with that.
But it's supposed to go through Congress.
It is supposed to go through Congress. I also think they're cowards because if they cared, they would know that the nickel is also super costly to produce and doesn't help us. So they should be getting rid of that too, but they're cowards. They're cowards and they're liars. So, okay, unfortunately, I agree with them on that, but we can move right on to they say they want to kill the penny, but ultimately it looks like they're going to probably kill the dollar. And we were on Blue Sky and somebody said that they asked this out loud, and I think it's a reasonable question. They said, is Elon trying to fuck up the US dollar so we have to use crypto? Like, is that what's happening? And you're giving Elon Musk too much credit. Elon Musk, I know people think this is a silly thing to say, but really he is stupid when it comes to like most things. He's pretty stupid. And understanding how money works and the US dollar and how it stays strong, he doesn't understand how that happens. But why do we think he's going to unintentionally kill the dollar?
Well, he's already attacked the full faith and credit of the United States by impounding transfers that were already appropriated by Congress, both to domestic agencies and to foreign groups that work under contract with the United States government, like with funds already under contract for them. And he has continued that assault on the full faith and credit of the U.S. financial system by him and Trump threatening to default on certain treasuries where they have imagined some irregularity. He's also threatened to deduplicate the record-based system at Social Security, because he claims some people that some Social Security numbers are in there more than once, and they're supposed to be. The system is designed so that when your name changes, there's now 2 records in the system, one with your original name, one with your change name, so that when they pull in all the records associated with a certain Social Security number, they can see over time the changes associated with that number. Musk has instead decided what this means is that if the Social Security number is in there more than once, you are defrauding the United States government and getting many extra Social Security payments you're not supposed to. So the next thing he's going to do is start attacking direct transfers to United States citizens, Social Security disability, and some of the indirect transfers, Medicaid and Medicare, as part of this. So that's another attack on the full faith and credit of the U.S. system. We talked in our CBDC episode about how their definition of CBDC is fundamentally incompatible with our banking system. We're talking about the gutting of financial regulations, the gutting of depositor protection, the gutting of banking safety regulations, the gutting of crypto custody regulations, the gutting of all these regulations meant to prevent risks like 2008 or even 1929 are being eliminated in favor of this far more brittle, far more fragile system, which is far more likely to collapse. So yeah, defaulting on treasuries, though, is the one thing that we fucking can't do, and which both Musk and Trump have indicated that they are planning on doing.
That's right.
They fundamentally want the United States to default, and that is ruinous to the global economy in a way that cannot be predicted or managed.
It's really important to understand that none of us have ever lived through a time where the dollar, people talk about it all the time. They're like the diminishing value of the dollar over 100 years or whatever they say. There's always a crypto argument about, inflation every year makes the dollar worthless. But there's a reason we have slight inflation. There's a reason that you kind of want that for the velocity of money. And what they're doing here is going to throw something that has taken us 100 years to get to be this powerful. We had to do the Marshall Plan. We had to utilize the dollar to save nations, to save millions of lives. We actually used it for great purposes, and that's why it became this economic powerhouse. Everyone utilizes it for everything, and it's going to go away. I need people to understand that it will not. Your dollar in a year, if they do what they're saying, your dollar will not be worth $1 anymore, basically, is what I'm trying to tell you. It will be worth way less than what it's worth now. And it won't be 5% or 6% or 10%. It'll be more than that. The shit that Argentina deals with is what we will be dealing with here. So let's not do that. And hedge with Cas coin.